Welcome back in to the Stokastic YouTube channel. My name is Geoff Ulrich, and in this video, we're going to be talking a little bit of Noah's Advantage NBA action for January the 13th, and specifically, we're going to be talking their Pick'em contest on Noah's Advantage. Now, a couple different ways to play on the site. The Pick'em contest, we're taking props from around Noah's Advantage, their offerings for, today's NBA slate. We're going to put them together, assign them all different values, take between 7 and 10 props, assign them different values, put them in a lineup, and then throw that lineup in a big contest against other people. Very cool offering here in their Pick'em contest for Noah's Advantage. Very much a mix of props and DFS style offerings. So lots of strategy involved too. And for this slate, they have a 15K guaranteed, 5K to first contest. Noah's Advantage bringing these big guarantees on pretty much every NBA slate, guys. There's overlay, and if you're interested in checking them out, there's often overlay, I should say. If you're interested in checking them out, use promo code Stokastic when you're signing up there. If you're new to the site and you use promo code Stokastic, you get a free $100 match deposit bonus right off the top. Very much worth taking advantage of. Recommend doing that now. You never know how long these bonus offers last. Promo code Stokastic for a free $100 match deposit bonus. And we're going to rely on the free projections for Noah's Advantage, and those free projections can be found at Stokastic.com as well. Every NBA slate, we're putting it up. We got our tools over there, so check that out after you're done watching this video. I'll be talking about the projections as we're going through the props too. I got 4 props to come at you for today. Don't forget too, on Noah's Advantage, this is why the site is worth checking out. There's 2 different ways to play. It's also the versus the house contest where you're just creating your own parlay style multiplier tickets. You can create them up to 5, put 5 more props together. You can get big payouts. You can put 2 together and get a smaller payout as well, but that's up to you. So we have projections on Stokastic. We have the Pick'em contest to talk about here. We got the bonus offer with promo code Stokastic. Smash that like button if you could. Subscribe to the Stokastic YouTube channel. Now let's get into it. We had a nice little NBA slate tonight. Pretty decent amount of games. We got Steph Curry back. Let's talk about Steph right off the top. Got a 23.5 point prop up. This one is projected as way too low. And yes, Steph Curry probably going to be popular tonight, but you know what? It's for a good reason. His point prop is too low, and he's playing the San Antonio Spurs, who are top 10 in terms of pace of play. They're bottom 10 in terms of guarding against the point guard position. It's just a very good matchup for Steph Curry. 23.5 points. You can kind of pick your poison with him. You could even double dip here. Over on the 3-pointers. You can go over on the points, rebounds, and assists. But I just like going over on the pure points here. This is one of our biggest projected edges. We have Steph projected for well over 26 points. He's got a 23.5 point prop up here for the Pick'em contest. Now, again, there's some DFS strategy involved here, but when we're assigning props, we want those high point positions to be really, really nice edges for us. And I don't mind eating some chalk here. You put Steph Curry high up in your lineup, you take some free points, and you move on. So Curry, 23.5, one of our strongest projected props up there, biggest edges. Let's take the over. We'll try and look for some more, sneaky props that'll have lower ownership as we go on here, but that's a high one. I always like to give out one that's really projected highly that you can kind of just build around. And I think Steph Curry is it tonight. Take the overs. His point props coming off the injuries, just still a little bit too low. Let's talk about another guy, another shooter, essentially, a guy who's turned into a shooter is Zach LaVine. I always like targeting Zach LaVine here. We often get 2.5 3-point props up for LaVine on Noah's Advantage, and we have that again today. And I like taking advantage of it when we do. LaVine is just a very high volume shooter. Doesn't have a terrible matchup at all tonight, really, against the OKC Thunder. OKC just really not that great guarding against any of the guard, small forward guard position. And LaVine, again, I mean, you look at his 3-point attempts. He's averaging 12 3-point attempts over his last 4 games. I mean, he has turned into the prolific shooter, the guy who just likes to come up the floor. Still, obviously, very good at just getting his shot open. He's averaged, he had that crazy game where he sunk 11 threes last week, but even just without that involved, I mean, over his last 3 games, he's averaged right around 5 3-pointers. So the fact we're getting a 2.5 point prop, 2.5 3-point prop up here, yeah, we're going to take advantage. Again, not a bad matchup at all. OKC also like a high-paced team. Chicago, about middle of the road in terms of pace, but OKC going to push the pace here. So got a nice little point total, implied team total as well on the Bulls. Only a 4.5 point spread. LaVine's going to be out there most likely the whole game. This one's way too low. 2.5 3-point prop. Again, this one should be a little bit lower owned than, say, the Steph Curry prop. I think the over on LaVine will be popular. But again, people aren't going to go out of their way to look for Zach LaVine necessarily. This one projects as a very strong over for us, though. And a guy that whenever we get a 2.5 3-point prop on LaVine, you got to think about taking the over. as long as it's at that number. His volume this year has just been very consistent in that regard. And like I said, he's just turned into more of a three-point shooter, which is fine. Take advantage. Let's stick with the guard position, but let's target an under here. We got Mike Conley projected for a pretty big point total here at 14.5 points. This is projected as one of our strongest unders on the slate. Solid edge coming up, like well over 55% here. Mike Conley, you know, he's a good veteran guard. He's a solid player. I like Mike Conley. Was a pretty prime ball handler back in his prime, but 14.5 points. We're asking a lot here. Orlando, not like the greatest matchup either. You know, pace of play there. You know, they're bottom half of the league. They're not terrible defensively necessarily in terms of guarding against the guard position, but Conley just really not where we want to see in terms of taking it over at 14.5 points. Hasn't attempted double-digit field goals in 3 straight games. He really never takes more than like 10 shots anyways. I think he's had like 1 game over his last 10 where he's taken over 11 shots. So Conley, you know, never was that great a shooter either. This is just a player at 14.5 points. It's a pretty easy fade, to be honest. He's gone over this total once in his last 6 games. So, you know, with a slower paced team here, like I said, I'm not shocked that this is projecting as a really strong underplay for us. If this was maybe, you know, the Rockets or the Kings on the other side, yeah, we might think about going on the other side. But at 14.5, we're just getting too big a total here for Mike Conley. Again, this is another one where I think people will be on the under, but I don't know how highly owned it'll be necessarily. People looking at Mike Conley's props. So I think it's a good one for the Pick'em contest. It's a really solid projection for us, almost as strong as the other two. And I don't think it'll be very highly owned at all. So Mike Conley under 14.5 points. Let's roll with that. Let's roll with one more under here to complete things off. We're going to go to the Minnesota Timberwolves here, and they got a tough matchup. I mean, you know, the Phoenix Suns, just a slower paced team, obviously. Like to dial it down. We got a low point total here at 22 3.5, so 223 points. It's one of the lowest on the slate. We've got, you know, Minnesota coming in as small favorites here, but Gobert, you know, it's a bit of a tough, not really the toughest necessarily matchup for him with DeAndre Ayton on the other side, but Gobert has a 35.5 points, rebounds, and assist prop. And again, you just look at what Phoenix does in terms of pace, in terms of defensive matchups. Gobert also not like what you call the most consistent scorer as well. So, you know, he's going to get his rebounds. He'll probably put up 12. He might even put up 15 rebounds here, but we still need him to get, you know, 20 plus points here and assists. And he's not going to get us many assists. If he gets us a couple, we're lucky. So really asking for Gobert here probably to get us 20 points. No, I think this is an easy under with the pace here, 35.5. Again, I don't think people are going to be going out of their way to take the over on Gobert, but I also don't think his under is going to be super heavily owned in the DFS contest. So Rudy Gobert for the pick'em, under 35.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Like this one quite a bit. I like all these ones quite a bit. I think these are 4 really strong projections here. We're going to go with Steph Curry over 23.5 points. Again, expect that one to be popular. Zach LaVine over 2.5 3-pointers. Again, he's just been taking a ton of shots and been shooting well lately too, probably in his best form of the season. Mike Conley under 14.5 points. Again, you know, slower pace matchup on tap there. And then Rudy Gobert under 35.5 points as well against the Phoenix Suns. Tough matchup. That's a big number for Gobert. So those are going to be our 4 props that we're targeting for the Pick'em contest today, guys, on Noel's Advantage. If you're new to the site, make sure you use promo code Stokastic there to sign up. You get a free $100 match deposit bonus. If you could, smash that like button, subscribe to the Stokastic YouTube channel if you haven't done that already. More great videos coming up after me. Most important thing, though, guys, have yourselves a great Friday of NBA action. My name is Geoff Ulrich, and we'll talk to you again soon.